you know that at 37 years old, Microsoft Flight Simulator may be the longest running PC game series of all time? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello and welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode number 41. God, we're getting through them. My name's Gareth Bridie. I'm going to be your host. And on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. How you doing, James?
Oh, not too bad.
Good.
Are you alright?
Very hot. I'm very hot. It's hot in London where I am today. It's like 30 degrees. It's going to be 33 tomorrow, I know.
Cold up north.
Oh, it's always cold.
Winter's coming.
Winter's there, constantly. And on my virtual right is Mr. Edgar Wolf. How you doing, Edgar?
Hi, doing good, thanks.
Welcome,
How are you?
Welcome back to the podcast. It's always good to have you on.
Good to be here, thanks.
Are you all right? You okay? Everything fine?
Yeah, all good, but hot as hell.
Hot as hell, yeah. Where are you living, Edgar?
Exeter.
Exeter, oh, it's hot
So
there.
down south, yeah, it's crazy.
Right, now before we crack on with our normal stuff, it's that weird time, it's in between the big revelations, and there's probably going to be a few now, but last week we did a special on the Xbox conference and its games, first party games, and we had me and James on there and Richard, but we didn't have Edgar on, so I just want to think, we're going to do Edgar first, but maybe me and James, we could think about, after a week, our thoughts. Have they changed? Have we thought about things? Edgar, what was your thoughts? Because I don't think you were that happy with it, were you?
No, I wasn't, but I think it's a good thing to sort of give it a week and like have that perspective back on and think things over. And I still think it's pretty bad. There were some good moments. For me, it was like the last probably 15 minutes when they showcased Crossfire X and The Medium, purely because I'm a big horror fan, and The Medium kind of looks like that mix of Silent Hill and Alan Wake.
It looks good, doesn't it? Yeah.
But overall, I think it was a very mediocre presentation.
Now, Halo has been getting a lot of praise and a lot of stick at the same time. People like the gameplay. It was the Halo gameplay, but there was some criticism of the visuals. Is that right?
Yeah.
What was that?
It looks pretty generic.
Right. Yeah. And it's Halo, isn't it? It's another Halo.
Yeah, I've heard rumors that there's actually quite a bit of trouble going on at 343.
Right.
And it's probably impacting Halo.
Okay.
At this point.
Not ideal. Be a big console seller.
What about you, James? What's your thoughts a week later?
I'm going to be honest. I forgot most of it. It didn't stick. So there can't have been anything that spectacular.
But that's also, I'm sorry, that's also a great answer, because if it didn't stick, then kind of gives you an idea of how good it was.
Exactly. All I remember is the pre-show stuff, really. Like Balan, Wonderworld, and Dragon Quest. That's it.
Someone said to me, and I don't know who it was, someone said to me, what's really telling is that out of the PlayStation and the Xbox conference, we've only really seen, on the first party games, 2 bits of gameplay, and that was Ratchet and Clank and Halo. And that's kind of interesting, isn't it, at this stage? And I think that's probably to do. I think that's probably to do with COVID as well, and I think that's to do with where they're at. I think I just don't think they're ready at the moment. I think we're going to see Halo at launch.
Which means it will probably be in a similar state in which it is right now, which doesn't bode well.
No.
Right. Yeah. Well, on a positive front, I was thinking about it more and thinking, I think I mentioned it last week, and thinking about maybe I had a disappointment, but maybe the disappointment, after a week of thinking about it, I thought, when we had the 360, for example, we had 2 GTAs, a Red Dead Redemption, a Bully, 3 Batman games. These are just some of them. On the PS3, we had 3 Uncharteds and The Last of Us from that one developer. And as things move on, games get more complex to make because visually and acting-wise and the voice work and the acting and everything, we're just getting less and less. Like in this console, we haven't had a GTA. We had an update of the one before. We've had one other game from Rockstar, which is Red Dead 2. We've had one Uncharted. And is this the way where we're going forward? The games are becoming much more like, I mean, they're mega movies now, aren't they? More than anything else. Are we just is our expectations going back to those old consoles of the 360 and even the PS1 and the Xbox? Of, we had loads of games, didn't we? Constantly there. And I don't think that's maybe been as there's not been as many as there, especially in this last generation. Is that fair, or am I talking rubbish?
I'm struggling to think of any from this generation, apart from the usual suspects.
There's not been a flurry, is there, of games as there was before?
There's a lot of little games.
Yeah.
Tons of them.
Yeah.
The indie scene is booming. But AAA games, they seem to either take forever in development because it's so difficult to get all the aspects to come together. Like you say, the acting and the gameplay, or they just end up getting dropped.
And they're huge, these games. You look at, we're looking at Red Dead 2, you're looking at The Last of Us 2, 2 big games. Yeah, I mean, you can see the hours being thrown into both those games. The years being put, it's worth it for those experiences.
Pays off.
And maybe we get into a place now when, and like you said, we have had on the Xbox One and the PS4 loads of games because we've had all the indie games, which have been more than ever as well. So I think what I'm saying is, I think I'm getting to a point in my head. I'm sort of like, what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for all these huge announcements on day one of Xbox Series X, but actually, it's probably fine because I was quite excited about things that are going to maybe come in the next few years. But I said last week we have got Cyberpunk, Watch Dogs, Assassins, these huge games to play in October, November time. Edgar, what do you think? Am I convincing you with my argument? There isn't an argument. I'm just my thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's a good opinion to have. I mean, I don't think that Xbox One and PS4 games are any worse than they were on PS3 and 360. It's like maybe we forget some things, and the games in current generation are more fresh in our minds.
Yeah.
And by the way, console launches are rarely associated with the best of releases.
Yes, true.
It's purely for hype, but the best of the games come afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely true. Thinking of the 360 when that launched. What do we have? We had Gun.
World Cup
FIFA. We had a Call of Duty, which was the best of the one before Call of Duty was as huge as it is now. Call of Duty 2. It wasn't. Yeah, you're right. There wasn't. They're not as huge. Okay. Well, we might hear some more about. The rumours are that the PlayStation are going to do an event next week. That's a rumour on August 6th. Xbox have we'll talk about later on. It's leaked that they're going to do something in August, so we might know a bit more about launch and prices. I mean, we pretty much we sort of know what's coming out on the launch, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've seen the prices.
Yeah, there's not going to be any surprises there, I don't think. Okay, what have we been up to this week? James, what have you been up to? What have you been doing? What have you been seeing?
I've been binging a lot of Harley Quinn, the animated series on E4. It basically follows Harley going off on their own, like forgetting the Joker and just moving on. It's very funny now. You wouldn't expect the pure violence and obscenities in a cartoon, but it works, and it works really well. I don't know if you've seen it, you two.
I've seen them. Have you seen it, Edgar?
No, I haven't. Sorry.
No, not at all. I mean, if you're a DC fan, it's great because it's got every character in there and more, isn't it?
It does a great job of elevating the characters that you wouldn't expect to be in the spotlight, like Clayface, King Shark, and even Dr. Psycho. I didn't even know Dr. Psycho.
I don't think I've heard of Clayface.
Oh, Clayface is one of my favourite characters in the whole series.
Ah.
I'd definitely give it a watch because
it's
so funny.
It's very good. What's really good is they put their own take on the characters. So,
Yes.
What's it called? King Shark?
Yeah.
He's kind of this dweeby kind of computer tech shark person, but actually starts to get very angry every now and again and does stuff. And and Clayface is an actor. That's why he changes the actor. So he's very kind of this English kind of over the top actor. And it's very adult, like you said. It's the language, the humour, the violence.
Great cast though.
It's really a good cast. Yeah.
You've got Alan Tudyk is in there.
Yeah.
Kelly Cuoco.
Yeah.
Tony Hale.
Tony Hale. Yeah, I didn't realise it was Tony Hale.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
He's in it.
Oh.
Yeah, there's loads.
Yeah, it's
It's
really good. The guy from Seinfeld.
Jason Alexander.
Yeah, he's in it. He plays a great character.
He does.
It's really good. It's better than I thought it was going to be. And I think there's 2 seasons already, isn't it?
There is, and it's one on each 4 at the moment.
Yeah, that's good. I reckon we both recommend it.
Absolutely.
Edgar, what about you? What have you been doing this week?
I've been playing a lot of visual novels, and I'd say for the last year or so, I've developed love for visual novels. I've playing them a lot recently. And I finally played Snatcher for the first time, which is a 1988 PC Engine game, I believe.
Okay.
I believe it came out on PC Engine, but I played it on a Sega CD emulator because the physical version for Sega CD goes for crazy money on eBay. It's like, I saw it for like £450.
Wow.
It's insane, and that's a pre-owned copy. So Snatcher is a cyberpunk kind of detective game, visual novel, in which you work for an agency which is tasked with getting rid of snatchers. And snatchers are they're sort of like, they look like Terminators, and they're androids. They kill people and then take their likeness. And their goal is to eventually take over the government and basically rule over the world.
Wow.
It's really, really good. I'd say it's one of the best stories that I've experienced in a video game ever. Like,
wow.
I finished it. I think I finished it on Monday, and it's really stuck with me. It's still on my mind. The music, the story, the characters, really, really good. Highly recommended.
Good. What's a new visual? Give me a kind of equivalent of something that's come out in the last year or so.
Like visual novels?
Yeah. Trying to finish it.
Valhalla is really good.
Oh, okay.
It's about you're a bartender basically, and you're listening to people, you're getting them drunk, and you're also finding a lot about your own character in the process. And one's really good too.
Where can you play that?
Valhalla is, I believe it's available on everything except for Xbox for some reason. I don't know the reason behind that, unfortunately. Okay. But it's on everything. It's on PC, it's on PlayStation, it's on Switch, it's on Vita, everything.
Good. Nice, okay, that's good. I have been watching a few things as well as playing, but I have watched I eventually got around to, which hasn't come out, is Snowpiercer on Netflix. It's been on my list. And Snowpiercer is a TV series based on the film. Who's the film by? I can't remember his name. South Korean guy. Oh, God, his name. Anyway, it's Snowpiercer. It has Chris Evans in it. It's a film that famously was made, and then the Weinsteins kept it from showing in the UK because they wanted to make a cut on it. And we only got it recently. And it's about a train, a huge train. It's the end of the world. The world is frozen. And a huge train has all of humanity on it. Right at the bottom of the train is the tail, is the kind of like the underclass. And right at the top of the train is the train itself and the first class. So it's all about, in the film, about the underclass trying to battle their way through the train and take it over. And we see all the different aspects of life as they go through. And the TV series takes exactly the same idea, but then has its, almost the start. The first episode is almost like, oh, this is a film, but then it goes its own way. It's a murder mystery story within the train, but we still have the thing about class and about, the third class and the lower class who are kind of servicing for these kind of small group of individuals at the top. And who's driving the train, and does this person who created the train, Mr. Wilfred, does he exist anymore? Is it all a myth? Are we just covering it up? It's really good. It takes you about 2 episodes to get into it. After that, you're sort of a little bit hooked.
I was wondering that.
Yeah, it does.
I struggled with the first episode.
I give it a go. My partner, she was the same. She's kind of like, it's got more interest in the second half of it. And the other thing, sorry, James, what you saying?
I was going to say it's the Parasite director.
Yeah, he did the film.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Who else?
Yeah. No, and there's very similar themes in both three. So, yeah, it's... And the other thing I would just recommend for anyone, it's on iPlayer, is Mrs. America, if you haven't seen it. And it's a sort of 10-part miniseries based on from 1970 to about 1980, and it's based on the start of the female women's lib movement, and about particularly this kind of bit of legislation was to make equal pay between men and women. But it's about 2 battles between the women's lib and this other group who is led by Kate Blanchett, who's the homemakers of America, basically, who's trying to stop it, who doesn't believe it. And it might sound quite dull to people when I say that, but it's a brilliantly written, amazingly performed, and really exciting. So I'd recommend that. Mrs. America. Don't get put off by it. It's going to win a lot of awards.
How many episodes are there?
10. 9.
Quite long.
9. An hour each.
I said that.
Edgar, will you be watching
it?
Be honest.
Because it has only 9 episodes, I might.
Okay.
Because I find it easier to get into shows which don't have a crazy amount of episodes.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair enough. I'll live with that. Now, let's do some questions. Now, every week I do questions to our guests to get an idea of their psyche and their personal psychology. But this week, I'm only going to do 3 questions. I'm going to make them gamey. Normally I ask questions about life and weird stuff, but I fancy just doing some game questions this week, because I'm lazy.
Cool.
Yeah. Really easy one to start with, all 3 of us. What was the first video game you ever played that you can remember? James?
Sure, it was Jordan v. Bird, the basketball game.
Jordan v. Bird?
Yeah. It was a one-on-one basketball game.
And what was that on?
I think it was on the NES.
Wow.
Or the Genesis. I can't remember. It was so long ago.
And how old were you then?
When I actually played it, I was probably about 4.
Oh, wow.
It was quite old by then. But yeah, I used to be addicted to it. I don't know why, because I hate basketball. But it was that, and it was a Disney game as well. I can't remember that one.
Aladdin?
Yeah, Jordan v. Bird.
Wow. Okay, that's good. Edgar, what about you?
I think the first one I remember is The Lion King, and I think it's the NES as well. That's the first memory I have.
I remember that. On the,
I
And
never played that one.
I was probably like 7, something like that, 6 or 7.
oh. Good. The Lion King. I do remember that. I played that on the SNES. I'm going to... Of course, I'm much older than both of you two. So...
Is it Pong?
It will be near about that. It's Space Invaders.
When you were 40.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Very good. I like that. I think it was Space Invaders. Me going to an arcade in '78 or something, whatever it was, and playing Space Invaders, and then playing games on my cousin's Atari, which is sort of lower graded versions of what you had in the arcade, like Space Invaders and a kind of Pac-Man version or something like that. Yeah, that was my first one.
That was cool.
Really, Pac-Man I kind of remember more, and Asteroids I remember more than Space Invaders, but I know it was Space Invaders the first time. Play it much more. Wow, there you go. Second question. What's your favourite moment in a game that makes you just went, wow? It like just blew your mind, or it just, it made you go, that's amazing. Edgar.
That's a really good and difficult question. I'm sort of like going through all the hundreds of games that I've played over the last 20 or 25 years.
Do you want me to start and then you two can have a think?
Yeah.
If you have something, then sure.
I think it's a classic one, but I think there are loads. Like you said, and most recently, I think actually going back to this generation, I've had loads of wow moments in these generations. They've really done some amazing stuff, especially The Last of Us recently. I've spoken enough about that, but there's lots of them in that, loads of moments in that. But I remember the first Red Dead, which I think everyone talks about, and it was that moment when you've done a lot of the game, you put a lot of hours in, you think, oh, this is it, and then you go across into Mexico, and you're into this horse, and you think, oh my god, there's a whole other area, and then this music starts playing, which is this beautiful kind of song by a group, and I've forgotten it. And it's just this kind of...
It's Jose Gonzalez, I believe.
That's it, yes. Far Away or something? So Far Away? Yeah. And I remember that just being like that kind of pure cinematic moment at that time, and that I hadn't really experienced fully, and that was amazing. Edgar, any ideas yet?
Well, before you started, I was thinking about Red Dead Redemption, by the way.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about the very, well, almost the ending for John Marston, when he's getting shot by the Federals or whatever. And that moment really stuck with me. I think it was one of those rare moments which made me cry and like sit down in shock, because it's not usual for a game to kill the main character, especially after spending so much time in introducing him to you. Like, that really shocked me.
Yeah, I think and also I think we're going to do spoilers for Red Dead, and probably maybe Red Dead 2 in the next 3 minutes. So just turn off for 3 minutes if you haven't played both those games. But yeah, I think...
Let me turn off then.
Yeah. I think it's that moment in Red Dead. I think you're still playing. It's almost like the game's going, you've got a chance, haven't you, to kill some of the Federaris before they kill you, but you never can win, can you?
Yeah, I was always wondering if you could like kill all of them and like there's a secret ending. That would have been great.
Yeah, but it's quite nice that they don't give it. You just got to keep going until it's something is fruitless. It's like that moment. I think Halo Reach had it as well, didn't it? At the end of Halo Reach, another spoiler for Halo Reach coming up. But I remember that was very good because you were like having to fight and you were going to die whatever happens. But you were like, you were just crawling along the ground, yeah. And I had that again with Red Dead 2 when I had the moment right at the end when I lost the horse that I'd been with all the time, and that was a big moment. James, what about you? What was the moment you...
See, I miss out on a lot of these. big moments.
Yeah.
I don't really play long games.
No.
But I have a lot of wow, what am I doing with myself moments.
Yep.
Like Clicker Heroes, where I got to level 3,500, got all the game score, and thought, I've just spent 100 days playing this game, clicking a button.
Wow.
Wow. I also went wow when we played Destiny, the second one.
Okay.
You know when we saw the vistas
Yeah.
in the story, there's some amazing visuals in that game.
There are, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've forgotten about that game, but actually now, yeah.
I've never really gone wow at a story,
Right.
but visually, probably Destiny 2 for me.
Yeah. Good. Third question. I'm just moving for a second. I'm just moving around the room.
I thought you're just moving houses or something in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah, just moving house. I'll be back in a second. Third question. What is a game where you hate it and everyone else loved? Critically or friends?
Where do we start?
Yeah, what's the big one? I'm trying to think myself. I'm thinking this and I haven't got one myself.
You didn't think it through, did you?
No. I thought that'd be easy to do. For Honor? But did everyone love that?
Well, everyone I know seems to love it.
Well, I did. I was kind of alright. I didn't love it.
Red Dead Online.
Red Dead Online.
And Red Dead Online 2. And GTA Online.
GTA, that's a good one. Why do you think both those? Why do you hate them so much? Everyone loves them. These big successes that's launching the PlayStation 5.
The online sides are so longly drawn out in the way they're implemented. But even when you get into an online game, it's so boring.
Yeah.
The mechanics don't match the game modes that you try to play. Like with the party games on GTA.
Yeah.
And I just don't see where the fun is in wandering around Red Dead Online, just tying each other up. It knows what you're into, fair enough. But, nah, I just don't get it.
It's a waiting for you, isn't it? It's a waiting around and just, especially more with GTA than anything else, wasn't it?
Yeah. It took too long. I think games were just not interesting.
Fair enough. I think that's a good point. Edgar, what about you?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I would probably go with the original Final Fantasy VII.
Oh.
Because I didn't play it when it originally released. I think I played it years later on an emulator for the PlayStation 1. And I don't know how much time I spent with it, probably a few hours, and it just didn't click with me. I do, however, love the remake, so there's that. But the original didn't click with me.
Fair enough. The remake's very good, isn't it? I'm enjoying it. I've got that to go back to. Yeah.
It's only on PlayStation.
Yeah, surprisingly. I was pretty sure that it's on PC, but then I Googled and wow, it's a PlayStation exclusive, basically.
It's frustrating. I never play it. I never ever play it now. Oh well.
Now I'm struggling in my one to think of Formula 1. Everyone loves that. Critically acclaimed.
Formula 1?
Yeah, Formula 1 games. I can't even get out the pit stops. That's my game.
Yeah, I've seen it. You can't get around the first corner.
I hate that game. Can't get that. I used to be the same with the first Dark Souls. I couldn't get those, but actually, I found when I had to review Dark Souls 3 when we had no Dark Souls reviewers at this time. I don't know why I had it. I really got into it, and I kind of understood what people were.
So you became a masochist.
Yes, I kind of really enjoyed myself.
Welcome.
But when I had I remember buying the first one on the 360 and go, don't understand what this is, but now I understand it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing Demon Souls, the remaster of that. That will be very good.
That looks really good, yeah.
Good. Thank you very much, gentlemen. That's the questions. What games have we been playing in the last week or so? Let's start with James. What have we got?
Well, I've just today sent a review live for Merchant of the Skies. Basically, You fly around the sky from island to island, buying and selling stuff. That's it.
Oh, okay. So what are you
Like
flying
Cowboy.
in?
You fly an airship.
Right.
Skies of Arcadia?
I've never played that. But yeah, you have to go around different islands, buy cheap, sell high, rinse and repeat. But there's also islands you can go to and farm your own resources. But that is all there is to the game. It's quite a chilled out game.
Mm.
And once you get into the making money from making good deals, it's quite addictive.
Yeah.
But there isn't much to it, which is the only letdown, really.
And then what's it called again? Merchant of the Sky.
Merchant of the Skies.
What have you given it?
I gave it 3.5.
Okay, well that's
It's quite cheap.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was about 12 quid.
What was that game that I played where it was all about just buying stuff and selling stuff in the dungeon?
Shopkeep.
Shopkeep, yeah.
Yeah, it's similar to that, I suppose.
Yeah, it's quite addictive though, isn't it? After a while, you do get quite addicted to it.
Especially when you go, oh, if I get 10 pieces of wood from this guy, that guy will buy it for 12.
Yeah.
Sucker.
Shopkeep 2, what happened to that game? I've gone off subject, sorry. I went and saw that in a show 3 years ago.
Pretty sure it came out.
Did it come out? I don't think it came out.
Oh.
Not on Xbox, anyway. Maybe it came on PC. Good. Okay, Merchant of the Skies. 3.5 stars. It's okay.
Yeah, it's relaxing.
Edgar, what about you? What have you been playing?
Continuing with the visual novels, I've been playing Synergia since Tuesday. It came out on Tuesday on Steam, and it's also available on GOG.com. Another cyberpunk visual novel. I'm really into cyberpunk lately.
Mm.
It's about a police agent who falls in love with her android. That's the story.
I like it already.
It's a bit silly. It's a bit dark. There's humor. Music's really great. Yeah, pretty good game.
And it's a visual novel, so are you just making decisions while you're just watching it?
Yeah, I think compared to something like Snatcher and Valhalla, it's very bare bones.
Okay.
Like in Valhalla and Snatcher, there are decisions, there are kind of like mini games and a puzzle or two. This one, I love the story and characters, but there's almost no interaction aside from clicking on the screen and reading the next block of text.
Okay. That's okay. I like that sometimes.
But it's good. It's fun. I think it's something good to play shortly before bedtime, probably.
I've just finished a game called Rain Swept, which is, I think it's out now. I haven't reviewed it yet, but we've done a Let's Play of it. And it's a murder mystery. It's you play a detective who's sort of haunted by a terrible event that happened in his past, and he investigates the apparent murder of a wife by a husband who then takes his own life. But there's in this small town in America, and but there's much more to it than that. You know, he thinks there isn't as straight laced as that. So you spend the time kind of walking around, interviewing people, chatting to people, staying in the town, following leads, and that's it. But it's really brilliant. It's a little indie game. I think it's won loads of awards. I think it was on Steam maybe for ages, and it's a little gem of a game. I think it's quite cheap as well. I think it's probably about £7, which is like madness. I think you've got to get it if it's there, because it's just really.
Yeah, I think it's discounted to £7.50.
Yeah, if you love
a few days
murder mystery or like all that detective drama, it's really good. It's really good too.
I want to say that the main character looks a lot like Gillian Seed, the main character of Snatcher.
Oh, really?
Who already looks like Rick Deckard from Blade Runner.
Yes, he has got that look.
So they're all using that beige trench
Yeah.
coat, basically.
You get in this game. You can get to choose. You can put different clothes on, as I
Oh,
found out,
okay.
if you want to. But I kept with the overcoat.
So you want it to
Yeah,
have that
absolutely.
Rick Deckard look.
And he smokes all the time as well, which is I really like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really lovely. It's beautifully done. It's very cinematic. It's really beautifully put together. It's like obviously someone wants to be a film director done it. Even though the kind of character animations are quite basic, but the artwork is beautiful. It's really lovely. Yeah, that's a great game. I would recommend that to anyone. I think it's out now.
That looks good, actually.
Yeah, it's really
like
good.
it.
So cheap as well. James, you might have another one, might you? That I might have a connection to.
I wish I didn't have another one. I don't even know the full title. I think it's Mr. Masagi.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise Edition.
Yes.
Wow. You already know it's going to be a great game.
Yes.
Is that an adult game?
Well, it's a little bit adulty, but more weird than anything else. It's a dating sim, essentially.
And that's what I thought.
And you can chat up a lot of young women and maybe a wolf. Am I right, Gareth?
Yeah, I'm reviewing this, so I've done a let's play of this terrible game. No, it's quite. It did make me laugh a lot. It is funny. So you first of all think you're chatting up you just chat up a normal girl that's first in the tutorial, and then it goes. Then you're chatting up someone who's a werewolf, then someone who's a ghost, then someone who's a can of mayonnaise, and then someone
an anime girl.
Yeah, an anime girl who isn't really there. Then there's someone who's a cow. You can't mention as a cow, but just turned up with a cow with a hat on. So it is. They know what they're doing, and then the idea is, Mr. Massage, that when you go on the date, then you just keep pressing on their sort of face when you've got their date, and then the controller vibrates, and it says you can use that for whatever you like. Yeah, you can imagine where it's gone. So
yeah, I googled it, and it's much weirder than I thought.
Yeah, and in the mayonnaise edition, you've got two games. You've got the main game, which is the date and get, and then you've got another one, which is basically one of those clicker games that James likes, where you just click the can of mayonnaise forever.
Yeah, it's a very basic clicker game, that one.
Yeah.
Even I can't bear to play it. It's just silly.
It's quite. I mean,
the dating bit is more fun.
Yeah, it's more fun. It's fun. I don't know how much it is. How much is it?
£4.19.
Oh, it's fine. That's fine then. Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah.
For £4, yeah. It's fine. It took me an hour, 2 hours, and that's it. You're done.
Yeah, is your Let's Play on the Xbox Hub YouTube?
Yes, it's on the Xbox Hub YouTube.
Please, everyone watch it.
Yeah,
it's so
embarrassing.
Funny.
It's embarrassing.
Well, I mean, it's always embarrassing, but it's funny as well. For you. This time.
Yeah.
We're laughing with you
I know.
in this one.
Anyone else got one? Edgar, anything else?
Nope.
No, I've been still playing. Oh, I haven't been set. I'm playing Ghost of. How do I say it? Ghost of Tsushima.
Tsushima.
I'm still playing that, which I love. Have you played it, Edgar? I know James hasn't. That's a great game. It's really good fun. It really reminds me of Assassin's Creed more than anything else. That kind of open world, but it's such a beautiful island to spend time on, and the lighting is just like you could just take photographs, and you've got a photo mode. You can just take photos if you want to all the time, and the fighting mechanics are really good. It's and there's lots of secrets and lots of things to find. Yeah, it's great. I'm just really happy just spending, not rushing. That's going to last me till September maybe.
What's the combat like?
Really good. You sort
what
of
we compare it to.
You've got this great thing when you have a thing called a standoff. Like if you come across a group of enemies, and it suddenly goes, you can press up to do a standoff. That means you're basically meeting another person, and then you've both got your hands on your swords, and then you're holding triangle down, and if the person goes to attack, you let go in triangle, and you kill them in one strike.
Sounds like a bit Ferrari.
It's a bit like a duel, but the problem is sometimes they go to do it and then they don't do it, and if you do it too early or stuff like that. So that's I love it, and the rest of it is all sort of dodge, parry. Yes, you're just building the skills up. It's really good. It's really, really good. And I'm kind of, when you get a fight right, and you're not like falling around like I was a lot of the time, getting hit by arrows in the back.
Yeah.
But when you're doing a sort of dodge, hit, counter parry, and all that stuff, when it all clicks, you look so amazing. Yeah, that's really impressive. But I haven't quite mastered that yet. Got close. Yeah,
You'll get there eventually.
I'll get there eventually.
Use your Assassin's Creed skills.
Yes, I really recommend that though. It's a lovely game to play. That'll keep you going for a long time as well. Good. Well, we haven't got much long. We're doing well. Let's just do some news, I think. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about some of the things. What's the first one we got here? We got the first one, which is I think this is yours, Edgar, isn't it? The bloody disgusting. Talk us through this.
So there's a rumor going on that Hideo Kojima is working or planning to work with Junji Ito on a new horror game. And Junji Ito is a famous manga artist. He deals with horror. I haven't read his stuff, but I've seen bits and pieces, and it's really grotesque and really horrifying. If that was put into a game, it would be in like theory, it would be one of the scariest games ever made, probably. Which also adds to the growing rumor that Kojima might be working on a horror game next. And this is sort of the next step to add to that fire.
Okay. So the rumor was before he was thinking about doing he did a picture as well that was hinting maybe at Death Stranding 2. But it just looked like he had loads of Death Stranding merchandise on his desk, so I don't know what that... Yeah, that's the other rumor. He did say that universe will carry on. But he did he was working on the Silent Hill game, is that right? Which is PT, of course.
Yeah, Silent Hills. So it was many hills in plural.
Right. And then
that got cancelled.
Yeah, it got cancelled. And he basically took that team with him to work on Death Stranding, didn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, very exciting. I mean, I think he's great. And I love anything he does. I mean, I'm a big fan of Death Stranding, and a lot of people I love that game. And I think his madness and weirdness and strangeness and everything is to be celebrated. It's great to have someone. Some of it doesn't work, some of it does. It's good.
Yeah, I think whether you like the game or not, it's good to have some difference in the industry, because otherwise everyone is doing the same thing. Yeah. It's the same open world game. It's do this, do that, find this. It's getting stale after a while, and it's good when someone is doing something different.
Yeah, and it's always going to remind me of Death Stranding of the lockdown, because I was still playing it at the beginning of the lockdown, walking on my own through these beautiful barren landscapes. It was quite nice. It was nice being outside. Yourself. Yeah, it's like going for a walk. It's great. Good, that's exciting. So I done a little thing at the start of the podcast about Flight Simulator, which is coming out soon on the PC. There's been lots of previews about it this last couple of days, and it's coming out. If you buy the digital edition, it's got 10 discs.
What?
10 discs.
10 discs?
Yeah. I think it's 400 cities around the world in detail, and 36,000 airports. 36,000 airports.
Oh, 36, right.
Yeah, 1,000 airports. So it's the world, basically, isn't it? And that's why it's on so many discs. And I've watched a couple of videos of people just doing very small flights, skipping through, and it does look amazing. It just looks ridiculous. And it's something I really want now to play, because I thought it might be one of the launch things for the Xbox Series X, but I can't see that running on the Xbox One.
I can't imagine, no.
So maybe they're going to wait a while.
Yeah. It does look stunning.
Yeah.
And can't you actually do like real-time flights?
Yeah, someone said they just did a 7-hour flight.
That's mad.
In real time. I mean, that's mad.
We need to get somewhere to feed them in flight meal. Rather than doing
Yeah. If you ever watch a comedy series on BBC called This Country, which I recommend, because I really like it, especially if you like those documentary types. Where I go.
I've seen that.
And there's a great episode when in a caravan, one of the lead character does Flight Simulator, but it's like a Windows 97 version in with her dad in the caravan. And they do like a 12-hour flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mad.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
so
funny.
cool.
They do the sort of like the headphones on everything, doing the announcements. Yeah, but it is, it's a massive series, and it hasn't been one for a while, is it? So, and it just looks brilliant. Yeah,
It's a great time to come out.
Oh, I mean,
It's a good way to see the world.
yes, yes, it's going to be great.
You might never get a chance to.
I don't know if there's any sort of. I think there's a sort of there's challenges like the world's trickiest landing strips to land on. I've seen that.
Yeah, there be some like missions and such, weren't there?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah,
like trials and stuff.
I mean,
Yeah.
achievement wise, it would be a big thing for they'll be sort of like do an 8-hour flight when they're
Mugging some of your flight hours.
yeah, which you're going to want to do. Don't
Land
crash.
in all airports.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will be. Yeah, oh, that'd be
That's
good.
amazing. One gamer score.
Next, Avengers. More information. This beta's coming out for the Avengers, isn't it? I think it's all PlayStation first, isn't it? And then Xbox is the last on the list, isn't it?
PlayStation's the August 14th, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
If you ordered the game.
Yeah.
If you haven't, it's August 21st.
Yes.
And there's going to be quite a few missions you can play, which will be decent. The single player mission and a couple of co-op missions. So at least you guys get a good idea of what it's going to bring to the table.
See, I don't play betas anymore. I just don't bother.
What are you doing? You always play one beta
Oh, that
every year.
FIFA one, yeah. God. But I think when I played Destiny, the first Destiny, I remember playing that, and then, of course, just repeating it all over again. I thought, I'm not doing this again. It ruined the magic for me a little bit. That first few levels.
It's a shame you can't create one-off levels just for the beta to show off what you can do, but not actually be part of the story.
Now, talk me through, you two. Help me with Avengers. What is it? I don't understand what it is. Is it a single-player action-adventure game? Is that it? Or is it a co-op? What is it?
It's both, isn't it?
But is it like... Has it got a Destiny feel to it when it's like an MMO? I don't understand what it is.
People compared it to... what was that EA game? Anthem.
Oh, okay.
And you can do single-player missions, or you can go out in groups. I think it seems quite open-worldy.
And do raids and stuff like that, equivalents of. Is that right? Yeah. So I kind of read a little bit about it today, saying there's things you can do in co-op that might last 2 hours or half an hour.
Yeah. I mean, I want to try the beta because I need something to convince me that I really want to play it. At the moment, I don't.
Edgar, you keen on this or not? Or what's your?
No, I'm not really into adventures.
Good.
I like Marvel and I like superheroes when they're on their own. So Spider-Man, Iron Man, Batman, that's cool. But when they're all brought together, I don't know. It's not for me.
Not for
some
you.
reason.
Hawkeye's coming. And DLC.
Would you agree now?
Yeah, he's on his way. I think they're releasing these characters, aren't they? That's the idea.
Yeah,
Hawkeye's for free. Okay, right.
Yeah. Afterwards, just add some more content.
Because they're thinking it's going to go on for a while. This doesn't it?
Yeah.
They hopefully want every game.
Hoping.
I mean,
They're always thinking that.
I mean, it's pretty soon, isn't it? September the 4th, isn't it? It's coming quite quickly now, isn't it?
Yeah.
But no one's that excited here, are they? Yeah.
And then it'll be on the Series X as well.
Yeah, it will be.
Optimized.
Yeah, it will be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the Marvels.
Yeah, we'll play the beta and see what we think.
Phil, we've talked. Yeah, we could. Yeah, exactly. Phil Spencer, we've already talked about this speculation about the August event for Xbox. I think there's definitely going to be these two events that's going to come very soon. We've said that. we're going to know more about prices hopefully in August, aren't we? They've got to. I mean, it's getting near the time, isn't it? Unless they say it's not coming out till next November. Yeah, they should do. And what have we got from Games for Gold? This.
Well, I think it's pretty awesome this time. Wasn't it Mech Arena or something?
Mech Arena and Portal Knights.
Yeah.
Which is good. Portal Knights is good, but, I think Games for Gold is gone soon, isn't it? They're going to get rid of it, aren't they? It will just be Game Pass soon, won't it?
It'll get slowly killed off.
Yeah, I can't
But I
see
think
it.
getting killed off in the past year.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it doesn't really go well, does it? Those two games.
No. PlayStation's got some. I can't remember what PlayStation's got. I know it's got the Modern Warfare 2 campaign remastered.
A brand new game called Fall Guys.
Yeah, what's that one about? That's like you were talking about it the other day.
It's like a battle royale.
Right.
It looks like a cross between It's a Knockout and Takeshi's Castle.
Okay.
It looks mad.
Oh, that was quite fun.
Everyone's jumping over each other and it's got silly mechanics and stuff. It looks fun. It's a lot of fun.
I think 'cause it's an anniversary for PlayStation, isn't it, coming up or something? It's definitely an anniversary for PSN. And they've got a documentary coming out in September for PlayStation, like maybe 25 years or something, is it?
That'd be interesting too.
Yeah.
I think there was an anniversary for PlayStation Plus.
That's right.
10 years.
10 years.
Something.
And I read today's documentary coming out in September. That was a kind of Kickstarter campaign, first of all, and it's got a lot of big names attached to that, talking about how they came about from the early Tomb Raiders, Naughty Dog, and on and on. That's quite interesting. September. Right, let's talk. Well, no, actually, we've got to go. We've got to carry on. Then we just got. I think we can't go into what we're going to go. Let's leave that to next time. I think.
Okay.
What are we looking forward to coming up in the next week? Let's start with James.
No, that. I know the podcast next week, so
You're looking forward to that?
fun.
You got no games you're looking forward to that coming out?
Not really.
It's funny times, isn't it?
No, I can talk about.
No.
I've got one that I'm playing that I can't talk about at the moment. But I'm looking forward to that coming out. Once it's out, I can talk about it then.
Okay.
Once it finally comes out.
Edgar, what about you? You got a game?
No, but I have underwear.
You have underwear? What do you mean?
National Underwear Day is on August 5th. And I'm looking forward to it because I did a silly article on it about games which are kind of focused on underwear or include underwear in their special editions.
Like what? Which ones? Tell us. Can't leave it there.
Read a teaser.
Yeah, you gotta read the article.
Okay.
Come on, the clicks.
Give us one example, a teaser.
Catherine. You've probably heard of Catherine.
Yeah.
So that had a pair of male boxer shorts in one of its collector editions. I believe in the States. I think the European version was pretty meh.
Right. Okay. Good. We'll look at that article.
One of the few collector editions I don't have. I don't think I'll be getting that one anytime soon.
Well, you can't either because I think it's pretty expensive.
Wasn't there a sequel to Catherine coming out, or was it only on Switch or something?
They released the full body edition of Catherine on Switch, which is pretty much a re-release with some additional content, but it's mostly a port.
Okay. I'm looking forward to next week. Nothing game-wise, but out tomorrow. I hope I've got this right. I think it is out tomorrow. Maybe it's out today. Maybe it's out now. Is Umbrella Academy Series 2. And if you've not seen Umbrella Academy, which was on Netflix before, it follows there's seven, I think, maybe seven kind of like children who were part of this Umbrella Academy. That, like when they were kids, they were in this kind of weird house run by sort of like a Batman-y type figure who they've all got special powers as the superheroes, and he made them into Umbrella Squad that they go out and they solve crime and stuff. But they were just twisted and it was a bit weird, the setup. And then as they get older, they just all drifted apart. And we see them in the first series older, apart from one who stayed the same age. And they're trying to stop the end of the world. And at the end of season one is a big cliffhanger. And then they all get zapped somewhere. And season two just carries on from there. And it looks like, from the trailer, it's all set in the 1960s. Looks like they've time travelled. Have you seen it, Edgar?
Nope, haven't even heard of it.
It's really, really good. Have you seen it, James? You've seen it, haven't you?
I've seen the few episodes.
Oh, it's very good.
I'm not up to date yet.
It's really good.
I
think it was a graphic novel. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was. And it really keeps that kind of graphic, really reminds that kind of dark graphic novel feel to it still. It's adult, the violence is really hardcore, deals with adult ideas, but the powers that it got are really interesting. It's not your normal kind of run-of-the-mill superhero tropes.
Yeah, it's very different.
Last year, Umbrella Academy came out and The Boys came out, and it was really interesting, two different takes on that genre, which was really good. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think that's out tomorrow, and to see what they do. It's getting some good reviews already.
Friday.
Yeah. And it's got an actor in it who's fantastic, who was in Misfits, Irish actor. I've forgotten the name of. He's brilliant. Plays his character, plays really good in it.
I know you mean.
He's brilliant. They're all brilliant. Yeah.
Is it Robert Sheehan?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah. I like him in Misfits.
Yeah, he's great.
Very funny.
Right, and he's really good at this. But that's it, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Our time is up. I enjoyed that a lot. Edgar, where can we find you if we need to get hold of you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as Edgar Wolf.
Good. James, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at OKidUKO.
Good. And you can find me and GB Briley on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Please come and join there. And please subscribe to the Xbox Hub. Also, I was meant to be saying something else that I've completely forgotten what it was, and Neil will kill me for it. But it was something about please do something good that we never remember at this point ever. But for now, gentlemen, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub, and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.